All I remember is I was shivering from the cold on Christmas and my dog was trying to keep me warm through cuddling first. Let me describe myself. I have always embraced my identity as a plus-size woman feeling at ease in Myeon. Body with measurements of 42 and at me chest 28 and at the waist and 40 and at hips. My husband Mark has cherished Shen just as I am and after 5 wonderful years of marriage. We share our lives with Max, our golden retriever, who is more than just a pet. He is a beloved member of our family. This Christmas, we decided to surprise my parents, who arrived in the village with an unexpected visit. Mark and I meticulously organized every detail, loading the car with gifts, cozy clothing, and Max's favorite toys. That journey was long one, winding through picturesque snowy landscapes that sparkled under the moonlight. Max, sitting in the back seat, wagged his tail in excitement, fully attuned to the festive atmosphere. It felt like the ideal holiday escapade, one that could deepen the connections within our small loving family. Upon arriving at my parents' home, we were met with an unforeseen sight. The house was dark, the driveway was empty, and the front door was securely locked. Perplexed, we called my mom online to learn that they had chosen to celebrate Christmas at my sister's house several states away. The revelation struck us hard. We found ourselves stranded hundreds of miles from home with no one to greet us. To complicate matters further, our car, which had been making odd noises throughout the trip, finally broke down, leaving us stuck in the biting cold. As the temperature dropped further, it became clear that remaining outdoors was no longer feasible. My parents had a modest storage nest tucked away in the backyard. While it wasn't particularly spacious, it offered a degree of protection from the harsh chill. Mark proposed to brave the nearby woods in search of firewood and perhaps something to eat. His genuine concern for our safety was heartwarming, and his determination provided a fleeting sense of comfort. After planting a gentle kiss on my forehead, he wrapped himself in his heavy coat and ventured into the frigid night, leaving Max and me in the faint glow of the shed. The shed felt cramped and cluttered, filled with old furniture boxes, brimming with forgotten treasures and a lingering scent of mothballs. I found a blanket among the disarray and wrapped it around myself, but it did little to fend off the relentless cold that seemed to invade every corner. The frigid air cut through gaps, chilling me to my very bones. Max, my steadfast companion, nestled beside me on the makeshift bed, his warmth for providing a small measure of comfort against the biting cold. His presence was a soothing reminder that even in this bleak moment, I was not entirely alone. Time dragged on, each minute stretching into what felt like an eternity. Every noise outside echoed in the still of the night. The wind's mournful howl, the crunch of snow beneath unseen footsteps. I found myself glancing creepily at the shed door, hoping for Mark's return, but he remained absent. My fingers, numb from the cold, shook as I attempted to distract myself by sifting through the boxes, uncovering dusty holiday decorations and remnants of my childhood. Yet even the warmth of nostalgia couldn't dispel the growing unease and vulnerability that settled heavily in my heart. Max, attuned to my unease, nestled closer to me, his warm breath brushing against my face, while the gentle rhythm of his breathing provided a calming presence. In that instant, he transcended the role of a mere pet. He became Yonsher, the sole source of warmth and security. In a night that felt overwhelmingly cold and uncaring, I was feeling really cold, so I decided to cuddle with my dog under the torn blanket, hoping that his warmth might bring me some comfort, so I quickly made anyway. I lay under the blanket with my dog on the old worn-out sofa. His breathing was fast, and it gave me warmth. To my surprise, he started to nuzzle my cheek, his kisses gentle but insistent as if he could sense my need for comfort. Each lick on my face felt like a burst of warmth, easing the chill and filling the room with a strange sense of calm. At first, it felt innocent, comforting, but then he began to press himself closer, his massive paws reaching up to rest gently against my chest as if were trying to hug me. "Hey, what are you doing?" I whispered, laughing nervously, trying to brush off the oddness of female, but he persisted, his large wet nose brushing against my cheek. He licked his tongue, tracing the curve of my jaw. My heart raced, and I don't know why it was feeling good between my legs, but he tried to move back, but he was so big, so insistent. His affection turned intense, and when he began to lick, it froze. It felt strange, uncomfortable, but there was something in his eyes that stopped me from reacting right away. It was as if he could sense my coldness, my longing for connection. He was so hot that because of it, I started feeling really warm, so I decided to take off some of my clothes. I stood up and took off my coat and sweater and some of my lower clothes. I was now just in my top and lower when I started lying down. Suddenly, the blanket fell on the floor. Suddenly, I felt a curious presence behind me, a full-blooded male dog drawn in by the scent. Before I knew it, a wet, sloppy tongue was exploring right between my legs, catching me completely off guard. I'm not sure what just happened, but I was taken by surprise when something touched me, causing me to leap up in shock, exclaiming, "Oh my God," when I turned it around, there was my dog lounging comfortably with his tail thumping against the floor. He had that classic goofy expression, head tilted to one side as if he were asking, "I like that, can I have some more, please?" I shot him a disapproving glance and firmly told him, "Keep your nose out of there, you little pervert." After that I lay down again and my dog threw the blanket on the ground again. I turned around and started staring at him and then bent down again to lift the blanket. The dog then came over me and started hitting me from the back. It was too painful, but only. I know how much I enjoyed it. After 15 minutes of pure, he filled me with his gum, leaving me overthinking. I couldn't pinpoint the exact moment it occurred, but a transformation took place within me. The distinction between mere comfort and something more profound began to fade. Perhaps it was the solitude, the biting chill, or the desperate yearning to escape the grip of fear and vulnerability. Steadfast loyalty and warmth emerged as an unexpected source of solace, illuminating my heart in ways I had never anticipated. A storm of emotions surged within me: confusion, guilt, and a fleeting sense of comfort that eluded my understanding and justification. When Mark finally walked through the door, arms burdened with firewood and a bag of hastily acquired snacks from a distant gas station, I had managed to regain my composure. I had tidied up, worn my clothes again, erasing any evidence of my inner struggles and the moments of weakness I had experienced. Mark greeted me with his familiar affectionate smile, his eyes reflecting relief at finding me safe and warm. I returned his smile, though the weight of my hidden turmoil pressed heavily on my chest, a secret I felt I had to carry alone. The remainder of the night unfolded without incident. We kindled a modest fire in the shed, its dancing flames casting playful shadows on the walls as we gathered close for warmth. Mark shared tales of his adventures, chuckling at the ridiculousness of slogging through the snow in search of firewood and food. I joined in his laughter, yet my thoughts drifted elsewhere, replaying the night's events in a relentless cycle that kept me from finding peace. As Christmas morning broke, the storm had come, leaving the landscape outside cloaked in a flawless layer of snow. With assistance from a local mechanic, we got the car back in working order and continued our journey home. The drive was subdued, each of us wrapped in our own reflections. Mark's hand rested on mine, his thumb softly caressing my skin, a tender gesture that only intensified the act within me. The subsequent days blurred into a whirlwind of holiday celebrations and daily routines. Life continued as if nothing had transpired, yet I couldn't shake the shadow of that night. Its memory lingered, a haunting echo of a boundary crossed, a secret I would carry indefinitely. This revelation isn't meant to elicit forgiveness or comprehension. Rather, it serves as almonds to lighten my spirit. Even if just anonymously, life is replete with unforeseen turns, some lovely and others regrettable. This was my experience, a chapter I cannot erase, a memory fate remains, reminding me of the delicacy of human emotions and the unpredictabilities they can lead us on. Ultimately, are all imperfect, shaped by our decisions and haunted by the moments that define our existence.